McDaniel can't move on it. Now he does. The shot, passing down. Rebound, score!
Hey, welcome to Tone the Crease podcast, where we talk about anything and everything to do with the NHL. I'm SJ. That's co-host
WillyDubz
WillyDubz right over there.
What's up, everyone? Hope you're doing well. It's been a crazy, I guess, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's like a crazy week for me. It's been quite a eventful week for me, to say the least. I don't know about you.
I've just been chilling. I can't, I was just happy, honestly, King of the Hill re-release, they re-released a new season of King of the Hill, and I was like, yes.
I don't know. It's just a lot's been going, a lot of crazy shit going on at work for me. So I'll just leave it at that, to say the least. But yeah, I don't know. Not fun.
No, fair enough. I mean, I was kind of busy with job interviews and stuff, but I mean, for the most part, outside of that and gym work, nothing too bad. And then also applying to stuff because the job market's terrible, but no one wants to really hear about that. So no one,
yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I think there's a reason why we don't discuss a lot of that stuff together, just because of it's just
it takes you down a rabbit hole of where you just read all the doomer articles. You're just at a certain point too. You don't want to psych yourself with anything in life, just in general. You don't want to psych yourself out or discourage yourself prior to even doing it, because then most likely you just won't do it, right?
Yeah, no, that's fair.
But yeah, so you're not a King of the Hill guy, are you?
No, never watched it once in my life. I can't speak on it, sadly.
So King of the Hill is one of those shows I recommend people watch, because it's one of those ones where, so back in the day, it used to be on, Fox used to do something called Animation Domination. And they used to have King of the Hill, and I always wanted it to kind of get out of the way so I could watch Simpsons, Family Guy, American Dad, because I didn't quite understand the humor at the time. And it's one of those shows where when I got older and started rewatching it, I realized how fucking funny it was. I just didn't understand it as a kid. Do people is there a show like that for you where it's or a movie even where you didn't understand it growing up, and then as you got older you were just oh fuck,
I'm gonna say no, but that's mainly because what I watched growing up, again, when I was a kid, it was a lot of SpongeBob, Fairly Odd Parents, kind of those those shows, and I'm a huge SpongeBob guy. That's kind of my show. And then I think
Fairly Odd Parents was a good show. Legit.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was a good show. Yeah, I just watched that mainly growing up, and that was kind of my, I think it was at YTV, Channel 25 for most of us folks growing up. So that was kind of my childhood in a nutshell. So,
because for me, funnily enough, the two shows or movies that I there were ones specific. So King of the Hill was the one for me as a kid, and then also, funnily enough, they're both done by Mike Judge. So Mike Judge, very very influential here. So King of the Hill was the show, Office Space was the movie, and funnily enough, both were done by Mike Judge. So
okay,
Office Space is one of those movies I watched as a kid. I didn't quite get it, except for the scene where they spoilers, they beat the shit out of the printer. I kind of understood that one, but later on I watched Office Space and I'm like, oh my god, this is real life. This is
finally hit you, eh?
Well, it's funny. So the story behind Office Space, the initial movie that was released, there was an end cut that's actually a lot darker that Mike Judge opted not. There's an alternate ending that Mike Judge opts not to use because it's actually darker. It actually makes the movie so much more darker.
Okay. Wait, so okay. Actually, I would ask you to spoil it, but I don't know if other people who haven't watched it or watching our pod, they don't want it spoiled.
It's a movie. So. Okay, Office Space came out in. Let me pull this up. Office Space came out in 1999.
I mean, somebody's maybe dying to watch it. I mean, then again,
no. Okay, I have a spoiler rule. If it's been a decade, you don't have spoiler rights.
I don't know. I want to watch it maybe just because now that you say it, maybe I'll give it a watch. But so no spoilers for me.
Okay, but you better watch it at some point. But my point is I'll talk about it at some point. The alternate ending is actually so much more darker. But I do recommend anyone that's entering the workforce or is in the workforce. If you haven't watched it, give it a watch. Amazing movie. And again, it's one of those ones as an adult you'll relate to in the worst way all too well. But yeah, so moving on to the hockey related topics for the week. We were going to talk about the Team Canada decision, but we're going to put that off for another week just because I got the decision ahead of time, but I just haven't had the chance to really look at it because it's a 96-page document if I remember correctly, and
So
I just haven't.
for those who don't know, SJ here was did study you basically study law, right? So
Well,
like
I went to
you know,
law school. Yeah,
you went to law school essentially, yeah. So like if
but
there's anybody
my
who's a little bit more familiar with all the terminology and the stuff and and what like and actually understands the document, it's probably him more than me. So he'll probably give you a more comprehensive like breakdown of that once he actually reads the
Yeah,
document.
and my thing is
But
like I have my takes already, but I want to read the document before because it's one of those things where I don't want to be misinformed in any way. Just I want to read through it, see what quotables there are. Because if you ever go on social media, you'll notice with um, there's people stuck on one side and people stuck on the other side. And reality is in most legal matters, there's a lot of gray area. There's a joke saying like the best lawyer is the one that'll tell you it depends, right? And it's kind of so I just want to read through things before kind of giving more of a breakdown of it. So we'll do that. We'll do that in next episode. This episode, though, however, we are kind of starting our season previews because we're not that far removed from the regular season starting, actually.
well, I mean, we're actually in August now, so like we're what 2 months, maybe like roughly
Mhm.
2 months away at this point. 2 months and maybe like a week away from the season starting, right? So
Yeah.
back to hockey, the good old hockey as we know.
So one thing I wanted to talk about just before we do our season preview of breakdown by division and whatnot is I want to talk about swing guys. So people that don't know what swing guys are, I think, the guys in the league or the players in the league that are most likely to swing the season. And I'm not talking about the players who are already good. Like I'm not talking about the McDavids, the Matthews, the Rantanens, the McKinnons. I'm not talking about those guys. What I'm talking about is the guys who we're unsure what we're going to get from them. And depending on how that pendulum swings, it's going to impact the playoff race and honestly, potentially the playoffs to a wide degree, depending on what happens.
Yep, makes sense. So I think for those, that's probably a good explanation for all the viewers. So do we want to dive into player one, or or is there anything else you want to go into before we dive into the first?
So I kind of want to do a couple honorable mentions. Guys who
Okay.
didn't make the cut for different reasons. So one of them was Seth Jarvis. I would have had him here if he was playing center, because there's this whole talk about moving Seth Jarvis to play second line center in Carolina, but we just don't know if that's going to happen. And if he's on the wing, it just makes him being a swing guy less pronounced. Because if he's on a wing putting up his usual production, it's not really much of a swing. But if he's playing center, it could have a massive impact on how Carolina's season shakes out. But the reality is we just don't know.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say too. I think for those you might catch a trend here with us, but essentially, we here value the centers more than the wingers. So probably not going to be a spoiler alert. Probably not going to be a winger on our list, but that's a spoiler alert there. I'll give you guys for a little bit.
The other thing too is so Nazem Kadri was also potentially a swing guy, but it's not because of what he's going to do in the season. It's him potentially being probably one of the better trade assets. And if he does go to Montreal or Toronto or a team like that, it will swing the season. But again, we just don't know, right?
Yeah, I think his situation depends on if he gets traded. Because if he doesn't get traded, he's not really a swing guy. Because I'll be honest, he's not going to do very much to help move kind of Calgary's needle. Whereas, like if he gets traded somewhere else, there's a good chance he significantly moves the needle somewhere else, right? So
exactly.
I mean, if he gets traded between now and like let's say in a few weeks, then maybe he can. He's like our seventh swing guy, but for the time being, he's just outside.
Yeah. All right, and then the other two are two Jets. I had Dylan Sandberg, who I think. So advanced analytics, and if you watch him play, he's probably one of the better burgeoning shutdown defensemen in the league. And I think with more minutes, he could be really good. And the potential is there for it. The only reason I don't have him on this list is just because I think the issue with Winnipeg this year won't be necessarily defense. Although having a guy like Sandberg playing more minutes, and if he's putting up similar numbers in more minutes, that's obviously beneficial. I think their issue is going to be replacing the production of Nikolai Ehlers, who left in free agency. So I didn't have he missed the cut, and then I think we also talked about Velarde and Cole Perfetti as well, but it was just hard to pick between one of the two. And the idea was like maybe, let's say, maybe they replace Ehlers' production by those two maybe taking a little bit of a leap up kind of thing, and maybe a little bit more
each of them kind of like upping their production a bit more. Although I will say with Velarde, I don't know how much higher his production can go. Like I was maybe thinking more Perfetti would take the bigger leap. Hopefully he'd take the bigger leap, right? But again, also them being wingers too is kind of weird because like wingers being swing guys, maybe that's just weird to me because again, like
it can happen.
I do think
I think
it can happen, but like
Marner,
I think you need to be a really good player for that. And like again, the center position is a lot harder to figure out. The center position I always think is a lot harder to figure out than your wingers.
For sure.
Usually.
And like it'd have to be a Marner Rantanen level. Like Rantanen would have been that last year, for example, right? But it is more rare for sure. All right, so we'll start with number 5. You can kind of I know you're not a fan of this guy, but we have to kind of talk about him here. Quentin Byfield. So here's the thing. LA is an older team, and if you remember a couple years ago when they were ballyhooed as like the best farm system in the NHL, realistically, all that's left from that is Alex Turcotte, who's centering their fourth line, Brent Clark, who's their second D pair, who has a lot of potential, obviously, and Quentin Byfield, who was their number 2 pick in the COVID draft, right? And the thing with Byfield is all the potential is there when you look at his physical attributes. Like he moves like, I don't explain it. I always compare him to...
He moves very well for a big guy. Because a lot of the big guys in the league, I don't know if you noticed, but they skate really weirdly. And it's kind of, I don't want to say they have awkward movements, but you know when you're just too big for you're not used to your own body. That's kind of how the bigger guys kind of skate around.
Well, Tage Thompson was like that for a couple of years until he finally figured it out. Right?
Exactly. But then like I think Byfield's the same thing. He looks like he's one of those guys, but he moves pretty smooth. He's pretty smooth. Like it's not.
He moves like Frank Gore. That's the best way I can put it. For anyone that follows football, he moves like Frank Gore. Like he's very explosive. He's big, but he handles his frame well, and he's quick. Like he's quicker than you'd think. And there's moments where you see the potential. Like I don't know if you remember that goal against Edmonton where he scored in the playoffs, where he basically just drove it in, deked in on Skinner, and like just basically like just ripped it top shelf kind of thing. And he has those moments, but the issue is just the consistency hasn't been there yet. And there's also the shift of him, like he was drafted as a left winger. He's being moved to play center. And there's also that aspect as well, just learning a completely different position. And the reason I have him here as a swing guy is because LA's roster is capped for upside. You look at this roster, it's one of the oldest rosters in the league. There could be potential decline from guys like Kopitar, guys like Doughty, who have been played really well throughout their careers, but they are getting older. Also, not to mention Philippe Deneau. And there's not a lot of upside on this roster right now, but where the upside could come from is a guy like Brant Clark, but more specifically Byfield, because right now I think he's in that 0.69, 0.7, like in that range of production. If he can elevate his production, it increases the upside for LA significantly, and maybe they're not a first-round exit this year if he can provide more production and play like a power forward should. Because I think the other issue with Byfield is if you look at his numbers, he's kind of has that Lafreniere issue where they're built like power forwards, but they don't play like power forwards. They don't really hit a lot. They don't shoot a lot. And I don't know if that's them just kind of getting acclimated to the NHL or if it's an indicator of what they're going to be. But if LA is ever going to take a step forward, it's going to be with Quentin Byfield making that step forward.
It's also, I think, back to the whole point about the position thing too. I think this was actually Byfield's first like full season of playing center, right? Because I've had a chance to look at his face-off totals. I think in 2021-2022, he took a total of 270 roughly face-offs. Yeah, 200. I'm gonna say 273. And then the 2 years after that, he took 108 and then 89 face-offs. And I think this year he took about 942. So this is like kind of his first year
for sure. Yeah.
It spiked for sure. So this is his first year of playing true center. Because like sure, maybe there were times where he took a face off here and there, during the season, but he wasn't actually playing center. He was just maybe the guy that just took the face off for that one instance. But Obviously, first year playing center. A little bit of an adjustment there for him, obviously. And I guess back to your whole left and your point, the lack of hitting. Like, again, he averaged basically a hit per game. Not super great. Again, not super great numbers. I think the year before that, less than a hit per game. So it's weird because he's a big guy. And I hate this with the bigger guys where I'm not saying you just have to throw your body around like crazy, but to a certain extent, you have to use your size because that's again one of your best attributes, right? And for Byfield to kind of take that step forward, I think he kind of has to use his size more. I do think LA did give him extended minutes last year, but if you do think Kopitar might be slowly declining, then maybe you might see an uptick in Byfield's minutes, and maybe that's where you kind of see his production kind of spike. Although I am a little bit worried because his production kind of has stayed, I don't want to say stagnant, but again, 55 points last year and then 54 this year. So I do have some question marks, but if LA wants any shot of, I guess if they want to just break past their ceiling of just being a first round cannon fodder to the Oilers, he's one of the pieces they need to step up.
Well, and the issue's never with LA has never been defense. It's always been goals. Like LA was, despite being, I think they were 7th in high danger chances for last year. They were 21st in expected goals for, right? Like, this is a team that needs production. And the only place I could, outside of like Kempe going supernova, and Kempe's done it like a lot as is goal scoring wise. Outside of Kempe going supernova, I like the only real upside for this team comes from Byfield. And if he does, let's say he evolves to like a 75, 80 point center, that completely swings the trajectory of LA.
Well, I was gonna say with the production too. I think I see only two spots. It's either Brant Clark, who I don't know for some inexplicable reason why they scratch as much as they do, and then it's Byfield because those are the only two. I generally think they're the only two young guys I think that can take a step forward. Now, do I believe Byfield will do that? I'm a little skeptical on that, but those are the only two players I can see taking or having chances of making significant strides.
Because if Laferriere has a big season, it's because Byfield had a big season, right?
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to the next one here. So my number 5 on this list, Zeev Buium. So here's the thing. I don't know if anyone's noticed this outside of like maybe Wild fans, but the Wild badly need a power play catalyst, and they badly need a defensive playmaker. If you ever watch Minnesota Wild games, the lack of any offensive, I don't explain it, the lack of any offensive playmaking, like mobility, all of that from their defense is so startling to watch. When you watch teams like, if you've again coming from a Stars fan where I've watched Heiskanen and Thomas Harley, or like you watch Cale Makar, or you watch Josh Morrissey, and then you watch to see whatever the Wild are doing, it's night and day. And it's like the Wild badly needs someone on that back end that can start being a facilitator.
Well, one of the things Minnesota struggled with is they haven't found a power play quarterback in quite some time. So essentially last year they tried Spurgeon for a bit. So I know this because I think I basically took a chance on every single Minnesota defenseman in fantasy. But they tried Spurgeon there. He was okay for a bit, but again, not super great. He's not a power play quarterback.
Well, they started with Faber.
Yeah, they started Faber too, but they basically tried Spurgeon. They tried Faber. They tried Chisholm, who they scratched a few times. So I don't know what that says about the Wild there. And I think they might have tried Middleton at one point too. I could be wrong about that one. I might have seen him there once or twice even, but they essentially tried 4 guys.
It's also been going on for years. They had Kalen Addison, who was so bad. Like, they had him at power play 1, I think a year or 2 ago. And he was so bad that
he's out of the league now.
Like, they haven't found anybody for years post-Suter. And it's like, this is their best shot at it because William has
they had Dumba for like that really short bit before he before he tore his pec, and then that kind of killed his slap shot and kind of killed whatever offense he had. But again, yeah, I would say ever since Dumba they haven't really had anybody.
But like, this is their best shot because Buium has the pedigree, he has the production at previous levels. Like, to give you an idea of how bad the Wild defensive production is. So what do you? So I don't know if you remember what the Wild's record for all. So the Wild's franchise record for most points scored by a defenseman this season. What do you think it is?
I mean, well, you said given how bad they are, I'm gonna have to start with a lower number. Okay, I'll start a little bit high. I'm just gonna say 60 points. We'll start with 60 points as a first guess.
Lower.
55?
Lower.
Oh my goodness, that's okay. I'm gonna go really low just to see if you'll go higher. 41.
Higher. No.
Higher. Okay, so at least it's at least point. At least
I'll
it's
give you one
0.5
more
points
guess.
per
I'll
game.
give you
48. I'm gonna just last guess.
close.
48.
So 51 is their defenseman record for all-time point for most points in a season. The record is 51. That's 0.62 points per game. So for people who don't understand, amongst D-men in the league in scoring last year, that would have been 14th. So it's not even like amazing. It's like
You would essentially say that's probably, I guess, if you're looking in terms of like if you're ranking all like the power play one quarterbacks, that would essentially be like
it's middle
average,
tier.
right?
Yeah,
That'd be league average,
like,
right? Yeah.
The Wild haven't even had league average for the most part. The highest scoring defenseman for the last year for the Wild was 49th. 49th. They were second pairing.
Was it Faber or Spurgeon?
Spurgeon.
Okay.
Spurgeon.
Yeah, I figured it's one of those two.
But just to give you an idea, there were like second defensemen on other teams. Like I'm gonna go here. I want to pull this up here. I'm gonna list you some of the players that were ahead of Minnesota Wild D-men in scoring. 1 second. Just want to pull this up here. Like it's really bad. So just to give you an idea, okay. So Shane Gostisbehere finished ahead. Brandon Montour finished ahead. Jackson Lacombe finished ahead. Let's pull this up here. Oh, hold on.
56 game Nick Blad finished ahead.
I'm going to give you a list of guys. Oh, you have the list up. Okay. Mason Lowray on Boston finished ahead. Even Provorov, maybe that's why he got the contract he did. Okay, hold on. Matthias Ekholm finished ahead. Not only did he miss 17 games, he's not a scorer.
Hold on, I'm trying to find if there's any other names.
Darren Radish finished ahead.
Man, I was gonna say Matt Grzelcyk too. A guy who only had one goal finished ahead of you.
Like, that's my point, right? Okay, hold on. Alex Pietrangelo, you can list some of these other guys here. I mean, it's crazy to me. But my point is, they get I don't want to say no production. They get very little production compared to the rest of the league from their D-men. And here's their chance to fix it. And you notice that issue in the playoffs too. But here's their chance to fix it. Because, again, Zeev Buium has the pedigree. He has the production. And I argue this is something, if he hits, I can play at, at least bring some stability to power play one, bring some playmaking. It elevates the ceiling of the Wild from, again, similar to LA, being first-round cannon fodder for most teams. It elevates their ceiling significantly if he can ball out, their ceiling is even higher than that.
Well, one thing I was going to point out too is for a team such as Minnesota, they don't have the greatest scoring depth to begin with, right? So right. I do think when you're a team that doesn't have a great scoring depth, I don't want to say you rely more on your power play, but you have to take your power play chances with a bit more urgency than other teams, right? Unlike, for example, you don't have, the Oilers can score at will. So again, they don't have to have, league best power play, but again, they do have one of the better power plays in the league. But the Wild had I think we're 20th in the power play percentage last year. So for a team that's already struggling for offense at 5-on-5, that's bad. And I think if Buium hits again, I do think that maybe they're at least closer to league average, maybe a little bit better than league average. And for a team that's lacking on offense, I think at that point, you take that, right? And I think again, it goes back to your point. Your ceiling does get elevated a bit more if you're able to at least, score a bit more as a team, because they are good enough defensively, right?
And their goaltending should be really good this year too. So it should just come down to can they score enough? And can they take advantage of the chances they do get, right? And Buium's a big part of that. And here's the truth too. Realistically, if you're not playing with a good power play one quarterback and a catalyst offensively in the back end, you're basically playing hockey from the mid-90s, right? Because every team that's a contender has those guys. Again, Makar, the Oilers have Bouchard, the Stars can play both Heiskanen and Harley there. And honestly, even if you look at the Avs, Taves is a good... Taves can do He obviously can't do it at Makar's level, but he can be pretty good on his own
I mean,
as well.
I was gonna joke. It's still better than what the fuck the Wild have.
Yeah, no, 100%. Vegas has Shea Theodore and Noah Hannafin who can step in there if needed. Like, look at all these teams. Like, they have that, right? And the Wild haven't had that for years, and it's really bit them when you consider how offensively challenged they are. And this is the guy. Like, this is the guy that can change their fortunes, I think, if he hits. And I think they should give him every opportunity to make every mistake he can. Because if I'm the Wild, I don't care.
Well, if you're the Wild, I'm going to say this: like, what better option do you have? You've tried, like, essentially your roster is most of the same.
You've tried everybody.
You've tried everybody else. There's nobody else left to try, unless you're desperate enough to sign Matt Grzelcyk maybe. But I don't want to trot out a veteran at that point. Like, you have your young, like, you have Bouillon, who's your young player coming in. Like, you were desperate enough that you actually played him a couple games in the regular season. I think you played him. Actually, no, you played him straight in the playoffs. You said screw it. You threw him into the playoffs. Like, I have to think you're desperate enough to just give him every shot at this point.
Yeah, but if he, like, even gives you, say, 0.6, let's say he hits 0.62, which, again, wild franchise record for 82 games. But if he hits
also, if that's his production the first year, you're happy because you know it's only going to go up from there.
If he's even 0.6 with, like, or 0.55 with, again, good mobility, the ability to break out, the ability to pass out into the zone, like, that's more than the Wild need. But again, he's a massive swing guy because if he let's say he takes growing pains where this year is just kind of a write-off for him, the Wild will again struggle. They might not make the playoffs, honestly, because this year, like, it's gonna be pretty contentious to get in when you consider the improvements Utah made, a full year of Montgomery and St. Louis. Like, making the playoffs again isn't a guarantee. And you also have Kaprizov's pending potential free agency. They need they need Bouillon to hit, and to me he's a massive swing, not only for what the Wild do this year, but what potentially the future could be as well.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, like, I was gonna joke, even on Daily Faceoff, he's listed as the guy on Powerplay 1. So
he has to be.
I think,
who else is there?
I know, but I think usually you don't want to throw your rookie in there right away. But I think at this point, I was going to say, like I said, the Wild are I don't want to say they're desperate, but essentially they are desperate, right? There's no other option left.
Like, the other option is, like, holding. Do you ever watch that movie Invincible with Mark Wahlberg? Remember when the Eagles held tryouts for players, like, and they just would ask guys off the street, like, if Bouillon doesn't work out on Power Play 1, that's what they're going to have to do. They're just going to have to ask the Minnesota area. They're just going to have to ask people in the Minnesota area to open tryout to be Power Play 1 and hope they get their own Vince Papale or something like that.
Or you sign, like, somebody from, like, college, like one of those undrafted college free agents or something. Like, I think that's probably the only other choice they have left. Pick a guy that's local that played in the area and kind of just go for that. Like, I don't know if they can spend another draft pick on another defenseman at this point.
No, for sure. All right, number 4. Again, you'll notice it's a trend of a lot of younger guys here. So Marco Kaspar, he's going to be second line center for the Wings. Now, the weird thing is, you look at his production. So he averaged 0.48 points per game during the regular season overall. But the last 2 months was around 0.6 with increased deployment. And here's the reality. The Red Wings need him to step up this year and be in that 0.75, 0.8 point per game range. Especially because, like, they don't have really room for error offensively. Like, Larkin's good and Raymond's good, but they're not in that high-end tier of point production where, like, you know, they're not a Kucherov, they're not a McKinnon. They're not going to put up 120 points to kind of lessen the load on the second, third line. Like, they'll probably get near a point per game, maybe slightly over. So they need Kasper to really improve the offensive production. And there is the potential there for sure. But again, I point back to the idea of, like, where, you know, the Wild have struggled with the Power Play 1 defenseman and defenseman that can, you know, be a facilitator. The Red Wings have really struggled with getting the second line center production. The highest amount of production the Wings have gotten from a 2C the last 3 years has been 0.52 points per game. That's the highest.
Well, I was going to say, too, if you look at their, like, current centers, it's, you know, JT Compher and Andrew Kopp, two kind of veteran guys who are very low ceiling kind of forwards, right? And you know you're not going to squeeze very much juice out of those guys left. So they desperately need Casper to step up, right? And I think with Casper, again, he has the pedigree. He is a top 10 pick. I know people will say like I know people will say like he's Austrian. Like I don't know if there's like a stigma in hockey around players that come from like non-conventional. Like
didn't Thomas Vanek like break that a long time?
Okay, but that was
also
okay,
if Anze Kopitar didn't break that, it's just never going to be broken.
See, that's the thing, though. I think the thing is, again, when you're a player that comes from a country that's not that doesn't conventionally like, conventionally develop a lot of good players. Like Vanek was, I mean, obviously Vanek was really good, but apart from him, like, was there very many good Austrian players that were like, again, like I can think of a few guys, but none of them were
Marco Rossi. He's fine.
Rossi's fine, but like I was gonna joke if
overall, fair enough.
Like Minnesota, like it's him and Vanek, right? So Casper again. I mean, there's obviously question marks with. There's always question marks when you're coming from from a more unique country that doesn't typically develop hockey talent. But with Casper, top 10 pick, he looked good in spurts. I know he started on the third line and he kind of worked his way up to the second line over the course of the year. And I mean, as a rookie, he had a pretty good rookie year compared to other rookies. So he was 4th in goals, 7th in points, 5th in shots on goal. So kind of did his job there, and he's gonna get more deployment with DeBrincat and Kane. And like I know, say what you want about Patrick Kane, he's still a almost 0.8 point per game player at this stage in his career. And DeBrincat's always been a 0.8, 0.9 kind of point per game kind of player, right?
And there's
so he's gonna get a chance.
Like DeBrincat's one of the few wings that can also accentuate your center because he's a shot efficient scorer. And what I mean by that is like he's not a guy that needs a lot of space to get off his shot. So he kind of helps your center in that regard as well.
Exactly, but I think the point is you're going to get to play with two pretty good offensive players, right? Like, again, it's not prime Patrick Kane, but it's still like even a watered down Patrick Kane is still better than a lot of second line forwards, right? So Casper's going to kind of get every chance to play that second line center, and if he plays well, Detroit does have a much better shot of making the playoffs than if he doesn't kind of exceed that role. Because again, there's nobody else behind. It's the same thing with I guess Buyam in Minnesota. There's no one else behind him to take that 2C spot from him.
Yeah.
Or I guess 2C spot and then power play quarterback in Minnesota.
Yeah.
You get my point though. Essentially, there's no one behind him to take his spot currently.
Yeah, and I think that, and they need him to be that guy because here's the reality: one of Detroit's biggest weaknesses is secondary scoring, and again, they don't have the type of first line that's going to throw up that's going to win scoring titles, right? They don't have that first line that can offset a mediocre second, third, and fourth line. Like they don't have the McKinnon insert two guys here and figure it out. They don't have a Kucherov point. Like they don't have even when the Leafs had the Marner Matthews lines and stuff like that. Like they don't have that, right? You have to accept that reality. So they do need, when they need production, they need it by depth and volume, right? Something similar to the Stars, and they need him to be 0.75, 0.8. Because if he's 0.6, if he's 0.5, they're not making the playoffs again. Because again, the Atlantic just got more competitive, right? The Sens added Jordan Spence. The Habs traded for Dobson. The Metro should be a bit better. So it's like, where are you finding the only way? And you didn't really sign anybody outside of Gibson. So like the only way you can have that growth to make the playoffs is internally. And Casper has to be a big part of that. Otherwise, the Red Wings are just going to miss the playoffs for another season.
I was also going to point out too, like I was having a look through Detroit's prospect system. There really isn't any good. There really isn't any other guy that can come up and take that second line center role, right? So I'm looking at their top prospects. Sandin Pellikka's a defenseman. He's not doing that. I think their number 2 is number 3 are goalies in Augustine and Kosa, and the rest of the guys are all either left wings, Carter Bear, right winger, Branson Nygaard. Like there's nobody in the system. Like, okay, sure, there's Nate Danielson. He's supposed to be a center. He was drafted, I think, 9th in 2023, but I don't know. This is a very depressing read when it tells you that a guy you spent a top 10 pick for, and the writer says, I could see him maxing out as a 40-point NHLer, but he'll be exceptionally useful in a two-way role. Again, I don't know.
The Red Wings don't need more of those guys.
Yeah.
They have enough of those guys.
Also, I guess on a side note, is that kind of depressing if you spent the top 10 pick for that?
No, sometimes that's just what guys end up being. It is what it is.
I know, but it's just I don't know. If I'm drafting a top 10 guy, maybe just me, but I'd hope you'd at least be more than 0.5 points per game, but
No, it's fair.
hey,
Again, it sucks, but like, again, Detroit has enough of those guys, man. They need scoring and they need second line production badly from the center spot because they've been trying they've tried Cop, they've tried Comfort. I think they tried. Did they try Rasmussen at one point, if I remember correctly?
they tried Rasmussen, but I think they have him on their third line, left wing left wing now.
Like,
and Rasmussen, again, he's another one of their high picks that just hasn't panned out.
It just hasn't worked. And again, I think this team needs to like make the playoffs. Again, we talk about how many years it's been, and Casper, if he swings the right way, will be a big part of that because that's the thing they need.
Yeah, for sure. Is there anything else you want to point out about Casper in particular? Like, I'm just trying to think, but
no, I like his game. The thing is, I do like his game, right? Like his two-way game isn't bad for a player at a young age. There's potential.
Well, it's actually one of his biggest strengths, right? If you watch him play, like for a guy as young as he is, he never looks out of place defensively. And I think at one point too, Detroit actually played him on their first line for a bit. Like even though he wasn't a center, they played him on their first line wing, and I think that kind of shows you how much they value and how much they do trust him, right? Because again, if you're a guy playing your first full season in the league and you're already playing first line minutes, like I don't know. Again, that could speak to Detroit's lack of depth at left wing, like high end left wingers, but that also could speak to how good Casper was that he earned that kind of role, right?
Yeah, like I see a lot of potential there. Like I don't want to say like because I know Hintz is a bit bigger and taller, but I kind of see like a smaller Hintz in his game a little bit. Where he's never going to have that insane production, but like if you watch Hintz play, he's just a very well-rounded player, right?
Well, also, I was going to say with Hintz too, he is at least a 0.8, 0.9 points per game kind of player for the most part, right? Like I don't know if he's had any dips recently. Again, I don't follow the Stars as much as you do religiously, but like again, he needs to hit that 0.8 I guess that 0.8, 0.9 point per game.
Like I see the flashes of Hintz, minus obviously like he doesn't have that same speed. But I see the flashes of Hintz. Yeah, I see the same flashes of Hintz from like a situational awareness, and like just being able to flow in with your winger standpoint. But again, it needs to be realized for the Wings to make the playoffs because again, if he just ends up being 0.5 this year, they're not making it. They're not coming close.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I think that even like I guess last season, it took like they had to have like a hot streak to even stay in the playoff race at one point, right before they kind of fell apart. So they desperately do need Casper to, I don't want to say ball out, but essentially they need him to ball out essentially.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure. All right, moving on to the next one. You can talk about this one a bit more because you're more in tune with him than I am, to be honest. You can take it away here.
Okay, so I'm assuming you mean Yuri Kulich. I hope I'm not going crazy. So we have number 3 is Yuri Kulich. So the interesting one about this one is it looks like Buffalo is planning to move Tage Thompson to the wing, and that's gonna leave a huge gap for the first line center role. And I think Kulich at times did get a chance to play on that line last year, and I mean his production wasn't anything special, but he did kind of move up and down the lineup throughout the whole season. So he had 24 points in 62 games. He basically got power play 2-time, but I think after looking at his stats, I think all 24 of his points were at even strength. He didn't get a single point on the power play, so there's that there. So for Kulich, he's gonna be the guy to get the real shot at being the number one center, right? I know people are gonna point out that Buffalo has Josh Norris, but again, Josh Norris is probably gonna get hurt at like some point in the season. Like I think we've seen this song and drill all the time. And after Norris, it's literally Ryan McLeod and Peyton Krebs, and I don't think any of those guys are just gonna sniff out first line center minutes unless, for example, Kulich himself gets hurt. So Yuri Kulich is gonna be the guy to get that first real shot at being that first line center, and they badly need him to step up because the problem is you don't want to move Tage Thompson back to center because then your wing depth there are some question marks about your wing depth, and like you have guys like Jack Quinn that you kind of want to ease. Like he hasn't played super great, so you don't want to kind of throw him into an elevated role. So they badly kind of want to keep Thompson on the wing, and they need Kulich to take that step. And with the kind of game he has, he could take that step. Like I don't know if you've watched this game very much, but he's pretty fast. He has a great shot, and he actually uses that shot at a decent clip, right? He averages more than 2 shots a game, which I think for a lot of young guys, a lot of the young guys don't shoot very much to begin with. So I think the fact he's already there is quite good.
I think the thing for him too is like, so here's my hot take. I think he's a big swing guy because I really think if he hits, Buffalo can make the playoffs. If everyone's healthy. Like, honestly, Josh Norris is a good second-line center. Again, when healthy. Ryan McLeod is a really good third-line center, and he was good last year. Like, this team, I hate to say it because it is Buffalo, but if Kulich hits, like, this could potentially, if you look at that roster, if Kulich hits and, like, their goaltending is even average, this team could be a potential playoff team this year. But it just comes down to, like, how well he meshes with Thompson, because apparently they don't want to put Thompson as center because he can't win faceoffs to save his life. So
yeah, that too. That's the other point as well. They don't. He just. I think I looked it up. His faceoff percentage is like what? Like, let me just pull this up here for a second because it is. I think it is like. You think for a big guy? I feel like I don't know. Is it just me? But like, I always thought the big centers like won a ton of faceoffs. But maybe I'm just used to like, for example, like Matt Sundin. But like Tage Thompson had a 42.8% faceoff percentage. And his last like 4 years have been 40%, 43%, 43 or 43.1, 43.3, and then 42.8. So I hate to say this, but he just can't win faceoffs to save his life.
Yeah, and here's the reality. Like, the other thing too that helps is if Kulich ends up being good, it also allows Tage to create havoc off puck, which is where he could be really like where Tage against the machine gets really dangerous. And again, it just comes down to how good he is. Like, how good will he be? If he becomes at least a solid first line center, like I said, I think Buffalo can make the playoffs. If he doesn't, this team now has a massive hole that if they're not going to move Tage back, I don't know what they do. Because you know what's hard to find in the league? Number one centers.
Well, I was going to say with Buffalo too, like, right? Like, they have Rasmus Dahlin as like that, like, first pairing, like, kind of, I wouldn't say elite, but like very close to elite.
Rasmus Dahlin's like, he's not Makar Hughes, but to me, he's in that like next tier of guy. Like, he's really
in that next tier, exactly. So like they have that first pairing defenseman sorted. You have question marks about UPL, but you've seen the flashes with UPL at times. So you're hoping that he figures it out and he's your starting goalie. And then if Kulich hits, like, you have the first line center, the first pairing defenseman, and the starting goalie figured out. And those are the three. I'd say those are the three hardest things to typically figure out. So if you have all three figured out, it's kind of easier to build your team out from there, right? You can take swings on.
The rest of the talent's pretty good. Like, yeah, like, look, their top four is Kesselring, Power, Dahl, and Byram. That's for a team that's a fringe playoff team. That's not bad, right? And if you look at the wing talent, they have Zucker, who was good last year. They have Tuck, who's good, who's a solid player. Jack Quinn and Doan can play on the third line just fine. And then they're putting Tage at the wing. It just really comes down to how well Kulich plays as their first line center. And how
they've also spent a lot of draft capital on like the wings, right? Like Jack Quinn was like a top 10 pick. Benson, I think, was a top 15 pick in his draft year. So like they have good like forwards. Like, they have good young forwards. It's like a lot. It's funny because I feel like a couple of them need to take steps, but like Kulich has to be the one to take the biggest step.
Mm-hmm. And again, I think to me the swing is like the difference between potentially battling for a playoff spot to just being in the top 6 of the lottery. It's that big of a difference for me.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah.
All right. Our number 2 here. Do you want to walk with Elias? Elias Pettersson, man. This is one of the bigger ones because to me, this is the difference between a Stanley Cup contender and I'm rebuilding this entire thing. Because here's the reality. Elias Pettersson went from, in 2023-2024, he had 1.29 points per game and then 1.09 points per game. Last year, that cratered to 0.7. And to me, the most concerning thing about Elias Pettersson is the shots on goal and shot generation. He went from 3.21 shots on goal per game in 2022-2023. That dropped to 2.52 in 2023-2024. And last year went all the way down to 1.7. So if you, not only is the production going down, the shot and chance generation is going down. And if you watch him play too, he's been way more timid offensively than he ever has been in the 2 years prior.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if you noticed, but like he doesn't use his speed as much too. Like he's supposedly one of the better like skating. He is one of the better skating forwards in the league. But I noticed he just I guess there were some stats. I have to find it. I don't know if I can find it. I might have talked about this in a previous pod. I think probably talked about it in a previous podcast, to be honest. But I think his like average like speed also went down, or like, and then how many of the high speed bursts that you basically have per game. I think that also went down for him to a certain extent too. So like he just wasn't like his shot. Like he just wasn't shooting much. He's not skating as well. Like essentially, he was basically just doing everything worse essentially, and it's worse because the Canucks basically chose him because they shipped out JT Miller. Like they chose him, and now they have to live with that choice. And they better damn hope that choice was the best one.
Yeah, like this comes down to which version are we getting. If we're getting the one from 2022-23 and 2023-2024, this is Stanley Cup contender because they have the wing depth. Their defense is pretty good, and they have Demko and Lankinen, which is probably one of the better 1-2s in the league. If he's the 0.7 guy from last year, you have to consider blowing this up, which sucks because you just re-signed Besser, you just re-signed Garland. Like, Hughes' free agency is coming up. But if he's your number one center, he's producing at 0.7 points per game, and he's not shooting, and he's playing timid, and he's not breaking into the zone as sharply as he used to, what do you do?
Okay, so here it is. Sorry,
and it's worse when, like you mentioned, you had the alternative. Like, say what you want about JT Miller. I've never worried about JT Miller playing timid offensively. Ever. Never been a concern, right? And it's like, you gave away that guy who was still good in New York, and now you have Pettersson, who didn't get better, really. Like, he rallied a bit, but overall, it's not like he was sizably better once Miller left. Like, he needs to go back to old Elias Pettersson. Like, point blank. That's it. Because, again, to me, it's like, if he's back to the old Elias, they're walking with Elias. I think they could be the number one seed in the Pacific if he's back to the old version. If he's not, like, they could be out of the playoffs again. No question.
Well, I was gonna say, okay, so I pulled up the stats here. So what I talked about earlier with the skating top skating speed and the like total speed burst. So basically, his top skating speed was just 21.58 miles per hour, which I think is actually below the league average. Which, again, for a forward such as Pettersson, you can't have that kind of, like, you can't be skating like that. And I think his total speed bursts, like, I think he had 55 of those speed bursts. Basically, speed bursts are anything over 20 miles per hour. So he only had 55, which is apparently below the, like, league average of 56.2. And that was, like, I think this was at the, like, maybe, like, the 3/4 of the season at this point. And also, Pettersson wasn't also, like you said, he wasn't shooting much. He also wasn't using his one-timer as much, which I think is his one-timer is pretty much his best weapon, right? So just wasn't doing very much of that. And the problem with Vancouver is they actually have a lot of this, like a lot of the team figured out, right? Do you have an elite defenseman? Yes, you have Quinn Hughes. Do you have an elite goaltender? Yes, you have Thatcher Demko. Yes. Are there question marks with him? Yes, but you have you probably have a better backup than most teams in the league. So yes, you have that even covered to a certain extent. The one thing they're missing,
Marcus Pettersson's a good second. Like, I think they have their first two pairs figured out for the most part. Like, it's like Roenick and Hughes have been really good together, and I think Marcus Pettersson's really underrated. Like, I think most of this team, it's just like the only other question really is like how high is Cheadle's upside as a second line center, but really this team is Pettersson. Like, they're walking with Pettersson,
yeah,
and they're walking as far as he goes.
And the question now comes down to, do they have a first-line center? That is the question. Is the Elias Pettersson we saw 2 years ago, and even, like, I would even say, like, the one we saw last year, like, the one before last year, is that the one we're going to see? Or are we going to see the one that we got last year? If we see the one we got last year, the Canucks are fucked. If they at 100%. Least see more of the one that was seen 2 years ago, they might be okay. And then if they see the one that they from 3 seasons ago, essentially, then they're gonna be fine, just fine.
Like, the thing that bugs me too is it's not, you can't say it's like a physical issue, because the whole argument was like, well, maybe it was the Miller thing creating, this environment that wasn't conducive to Pettersson. But like, it's not like he was better, but he wasn't much better once Miller left. And now Rick Tockett's out there too, so there's no excuse anymore. Like, you can't blame the low event hockey. And when Rick Tocchet was there, he still had one of his best seasons, so that's not really an excuse either. Like, Miller's gone. You have everyone back. You have a new coach. You're not injured. There's no excuse. Like, it's not something I can look at where, like, for example, when Tyler Sagan got hurt, or when like Landeskog getting hurt, and like you see that maybe they're not right themselves when they come back. Fine, I can live with that. Like, but there's no real excuse here anymore, and he has to be that guy. And that's not even including the cap aspect of if he's a 0.7 guy and you gave him that contract, like that is Huberto level bad.
I wouldn't say quite on that level, but it's pretty close to the Huberto level of bad, because I think Huberto's on like a whole different level of bad. But I do understand your point.
0.7 point per game guy making that money, and you traded away the better player.
The point per game guy with, I think, making less too, right? Like making even less.
No, like that to me it's on that tier, 100%. Like, but to me, yeah, it's one of the bigger swings from potential Stanley Cup contender to honestly missing the playoffs. Like, if he's a 0.7 guy, there's a chance. I'm going to say this. If he's a 0.7 guy, I could see them finishing behind the Ducks.
Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked. Because I will say, like, the Ducks they at least have a lot of young talent. And, like, I would hope that they're, like, given their coaching situation.
If he's a 0.7 guy, the Central's probably getting 5 teams.
I still think personally the Central might still get 5 teams regardless. But I think but again, if
he is, they're definitely getting 5 teams. There's no question.
If he's good, then maybe they're getting just 4. But
it's going to be interesting to see how the walk-in with Elias goes there. Shoutouts to WWE. All right, and number 1, the last one we have here. This is one of my favorite things to watch this year. Jet Greaves. So here's the thing, right? I don't normally like to overreact to small sample sizes. My friends always bug me about this because anytime they'll talk about someone, they'll be like, "Oh, is the sample size enough for you, SJ?" It's always like this thing. And I don't normally overreact, but Jet Greaves' numbers were so good in that small sample size, it made me turn my head. Like that meme where that guy is walking with his girlfriend and he looks back at the other girl. That's how I was watching Jet Greaves' numbers last year. I don't know if you were the same, but
I might try to stick a meme at some point here if I can figure it out. I'll stick that meme, and I'll do it with I think I'll have like what is it, Mersleskins and Tarasov, and then it's like they're the good boyfriends looking at Jet Greaves here. I'll try to see if I can Photoshop that. If not, you won't see anything on screen, but I'll try to Photoshop that if I get a shot. But
like for you, like that Jet Greaves thing blew your mind, right?
No, yeah, okay. So we'll post and we'll tell everyone the numbers here. So he only played 11 games, and 11 games is a very small sample size. But in those 11 games, he had a 14.5 goals saved above expected, which put him 15th out of 103 goalies that played at least one game. His goals against average was 191, which is already like crazy enough. Save percentage of 938.
Bonkers.
That is like better than Hasek level. Like I would assume that's probably better than Hasek level numbers even at that point. Yes, it's 11 games. Don't judge, but it's like you have to turn your head when you see those kinds of numbers because those kinds of numbers don't even don't. I don't want to say don't happen typically in short sample sizes. Even with short sample sizes, they don't happen that often.
Yeah. And here's the thing: if there's one thing Columbus badly needs, it's goaltending. So the last 3 years in team save percentage. 2022-23, they were 29th. 2023-2024, they were 22nd. And then last year, they were 18th. And that's with Jet Greaves playing out of his mind. And Mers, the last 3 years in goals save above expected, this is amongst goalies that have at least played 10 games. So I'm not accounting for one game that throws off the variance. So 79th in 2022-23, which is kind of impressive if you think about it. 60th in 2023-2024, 58th in 2024-25. Merz just hasn't been good. They've gone, and at their times, Tarasov's been just as bad, or whoever their backup goalies has been just as bad, if not worse. Like, this team badly needs good goaltending. And if you look at their team last year, there's a lot of potential for this team to be better. Like, they're a good offensive team. They were 11th in expected goals for last year. Monahan, Chinnikov, and Marchenko were one of the best forward lines in the league when they were all healthy. And they added Coyle to add some depth. They get a full year of Boone Jenner, hopefully, if he's healthy. And Fantilli posts that like second year showing some flashes. If you combine that with Werenski on at the point, like this has a potential to be a really good offensive team. What the issues are is their defense. They were 28th in expected goals against, 30th in high danger chance against, and they didn't really make any changes to the defense. There's no additional puck movers. It feels like they struggled last year, and you mentioned this a lot of times, to get 6 competent defensemen at the same time, and yet they still almost made the playoffs. So,
well, I think that's the point I want to highlight too, is that in spite of Elvis having a minus 8.2 goals to above expected, Tarasov having a minus 4.4, which put them 77th and I think 87th out of 103 goalies essentially. In spite of all that shit, they missed the playoffs by 2 points. I just want to highlight that there. They missed it by 2 points. And if
with a terrible defense.
And with a terrible defense. And if Jet Greaves, again, he doesn't have to put up these same numbers again. But if he even does, like, let's say, I don't know, what's a realistic one? Like 275 goals against average, like 915,
yeah.
915 save percentage. They're a playoff team.
Yeah.
If assuming the offense and everything holds. Yeah, assuming everything else.
No disrespect to Joey Decord, but if Greaves is Joey Decord good, this is a playoff team. If these numbers are even remotely real, if he's like Thatcher Demko in disguise, if he's Thatcher Demko of the East, this is a contender potentially to win maybe at least one, maybe 2 playoff rounds. Because if he can just basically duct tape that defense, their offense can carry them. Because again, the offense is good and has real potential with all the young talent to even hit another gear. It just comes down to what Greaves can give them. Because I don't know how much extra upside there is in the defensive core. Like, there's really not. And
I think the only one that really has upside to me is Denton Matejchuk. Like I saw a couple games of Matejchuk, and I think he made the. I don't know if he was on the all NHL the third rookie team or the second one. I don't remember essentially, but
okay,
he was
third.
But essentially, like he looked pretty good in his short like stint. And again, he's another good. He's at least one more better defenseman than whatever the fuck they had last year. So at least it's him, Marinsky, and then. I know Provorov got that really massive contract. He wasn't super great, but like Provorov's still an okay-ish defenseman.
Yeah, but to me, Greaves is my number one because like we don't know what the floor is. We don't know what the ceiling is. And honestly, how you view Columbus is really dependent on how good you think Greaves is. That's just what it comes down to.
Yeah. Like like we said, if Greaves does like even again, like you said, the Joey Decord numbers, this team is a playoff team. If he plays closer to these Hasek level numbers, this team may steal a couple rounds in the playoffs. And I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't be shocked.
Especially in the Metro. Like this team can score. And you know what a lot of teams in the Metro can't do right now?
They can't score.
Like it's gonna be and all these guys, I think and why I say these are the swing guys of the league is they have the ability to, depending on how these guys produce, they can really impact anything from the playoff race to even, again, the first couple rounds of the playoffs. Because if Jet Greaves is the real deal, nobody will want to play Columbus round 1.
Also, on like a random side note, maybe it's just me, but like obviously, like for those who don't know, Jet Greaves is kind of like a smallerish goalie. He's like I think he's 6 feet, and I think. There's not a lot of goalies.
I hate when smallerish is 6 feet because I'm like 5'10" and a half. So
yo, I'm 6 feet. Keep in mind, I know 6 feet, for fuck's sake. So it's like I would be considered small. Like that's kind of present. But like maybe
we'd be undraftable in the NHL. Like
we'd have to work hard just to even like get a tryout. I think my thing is with the smaller goalies is just like I don't know, maybe it's just me, but like because there's so little of them, I just want to root harder for them. I just want to
100%.
I think Saros is like the only one. Like is he 5'10" or 5'11"?
Yeah, it's Dustin Wolf and Jet Greaves, and you say Saros. That's it.
So like I don't know. I'm rooting for Greaves, and I'm as a casual as a non like Blue Jackets like fan. I'm
with you there too. I want to see the short goalie come back to an extent, and like if Greaves and Wolf are real deal guys, maybe teams will start to be like, hey, if they're quality skilled players, we can overlook the height thing. So I'm with you there. I'm not a big Flames fan. I do want the Blue Jackets to do well, but I'm not a Blue Jackets fan per se. But I just, again, want their fan base. Like, they're one of the best fan bases. I do want their team to succeed in some capacity. But for me, it's like, look, I want Greaves and Wolf to be good. Like, we need more of those. We need more different sizes of players in the NHL.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, I don't know. Like, I think it's the same thing I felt when, like, I think Johnny Hockey kind of came into the league. So obviously, like, it was nice seeing, like, the really small skilled forwards kind of succeed. Like, I think that's like, that.
Marty St. Louis and his calf muscles were like an inspiration, man.
I always forget about St. Louis. I don't know why. It's just like maybe it's because like you're more of a 9. I guess St. Louis kind of came into the league like late. I think late.
Well, you always root for those guys. Those like Korea, St. Louis, like guys like that. You just root for because it's like it's something different. And when they're really good, they're so fun to watch. And you have to also respect like how much more difficult it was for them to break in. Like St. Louis was undrafted, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Like again, I think you always root for like the I don't want to call it the work hard. Like essentially like the started from the started from the bottom guys. Because like Jet Greaves again, undrafted again, same thing. I think I've told the story on multiple times. Basically, the Blue Jackets needed a goalie for one of their I think one of the summer tournaments, and his agent just reached out, and then he basically
got an
AHL contract. Honestly, kudos to the agent. He played in the tournament. Earned an AHL contract, then got an NHL contract, and here we are. Somehow he might be the biggest swing guy of all now. So who knows?
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I'm so fascinated to see how these guys do, and also these guys have a lot of like, there's a lot of like GM jobs on the line to lesser extents, but like I don't know if Casper doesn't hit, Yzerman's seat has to be flaming. If Pettersson regresses or stays at 0.7, you have to imagine Patrick Alvin's seat will be heating up as well. And I kind of think Guerin's kind of the same. If they struggle in our first round exit, Holland still has some room because Blake already left, but you can kind of see where, like, and obviously if Kulich doesn't hit, Kevin Adams should have been fired like a year ago. Kevin Adams definitely getting fired if they miss the playoffs again, I hope.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So yeah, these guys not only hold the leagues in a way, they hold the league's fortunes in their hand. They also hold their GM's fortunes in their hand. So it should be fun. All right. So that's the first part of our season preview there. Again, I think that kind of gives you an interesting look at what to look out for if you're not following your team as well. The other thing we're going to do next week, like I said, we're going to talk about the Team Canada stuff in a bit more detail once I have a chance to review the judge's decision. One advantage of it going to a judge trial is the judge actually had to write a decision, so that's kind of cool. And the other thing we're going to do is 5 teams we think will be better and 5 teams we think will be worse. And we do this every year. Sometimes we hit it and sometimes we miss horribly. So
I think depending on how the team, I guess how long we talk about the Team Canada, we may end up splitting the 5 team will be better and worse, like we'll 2 separate ones. We'll see, but we might, if we can talk about that one quickly, we might just do it all in one. We'll see how it goes.
Like maybe we don't have 5, maybe we have 3, maybe we have 4.
Yeah, that too. We have to take a look at the numbers and all the additions and subtractions and kind of figure out all the nuances, and we'll see if we have 3 to 5 or even 1 to 2. I don't know. We'll see how many teams we think will be better or worse, essentially.
For sure. All right. So now we'll kind of end our podcast here with doing what we've done recently with the Immaculate Grid. If you want to pull it up there.
Yep, I'm just going to do Chrome tab. Let's see if that works. Okay, do you see it here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm going to start a timer in starting now. So we got 5 minutes.
Okay, I'm pretty sure... Hold on. I was going to say...
I'm thinking...
I know Parise played for both the Isles.
This one might be a way too obvious one, right?
Did Rolison play for the Isles?
Rolison played for the Isles, but he also works for the Tampa Islanders one too, right? So he works for these ones. Both of these ones. So you kind of have to take your pick of which one you want to go with for
Rolison played for the Lightning? Oh, yeah, he did.
Yeah, he played for the Lightning at one point.
Lightning Blackhawks, Hobby Bulin.
Oh, is that going to be an obvious one or no?
I don't know, but he's there. He might be though. Is the only thing. Oh, Strawman too.
13%. Okay, we'll take it. I think that's okay.
Did Strawman play for the Flames? No, right? Oh, Corey Stillman.
No.
Flames Lightning.
Flames Lightning. Corey Stillman. Oh, did I spell it wrong? Wait.
Yeah, Cory.
Cor. Oh, wait. Whoops. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
I'm thinking. Okay, so I'm thinking we use Rollinson for either one of the two. Like one of the Islander Wild or the Islanders Tampa one. Which one do you think he's less likely to like?
Well, who can you think of that played for the Isles? No, not. Somebody got traded to the Isles. Oh, Chris Simon played for no.
Well, do you want to do Islanders?
What's his face?
Bruins,
who's that guy?
Johnny Boychuk.
Yeah, that's fine.
Johnny Boychuk. Okay, let's go Boychuk. Johnny Boychuk. Okay, 9%. That's not too bad. Flames Bruins.
Well, Lucic is the obvious one.
Ginla's too obvious too, I think.
Lucic,
Dougie Hamilton?
Elias Lindholm?
that one might even be that one might even be worse. What about Dougie Hamilton? Because like,
sure, yeah, that's fine.
Did Hamilton? I assume he did play some games for the Bruins, right? Like in the
I think so.
Okay, we'll go Dougie Hamilton. Let's see if that. I hope it's not okay.
Teach me how to Dougie.
Not too bad. Okay.
Boston. Jeff Hackett
for Boston and the Blackhawks.
Yeah.
Jeff Hackett. Okay. Wow. Damn. Okay, that was a pull. Okay, so which one do you want to use Rollinson for? Which one do you think we're gonna have?
You can pick. Which one do you think? I pick him for Island because you can pick Niederreiter for Islanders Wild.
Okay, so we'll go Rollinson here then.
Yeah, sure.
For the
Yeah.
There you go, Dwayne Rollinson, 10%. Okay. Wild Blackhawks. That's one I'm blanking on.
Sergei Krivokrasov. I think actually, I don't know if did Krivokrasov play for the Wild? Maybe.
I don't even know who that guy is, so I'm not going to comment. Flames and Wild. I can think of a couple. It's either Cam Talbot.
It's like the answer to every question.
I know Owen Nolan, I think, played a really short bit for each one, but like that one might be kind of out there. Oh, would Devin Setaguchi work for this one?
Did he play for the Flames? I don't even know.
That I don't know. I know he played for the Wild for sure. Like that's the guaranteed in the Flame.
I know that for sure.
Do you want to take a chance or no?
It's up to you.
Let's take a shot. I'm gonna.
I don't think he played. I'm gonna push back. I don't think he played for the Flames.
Do you want to take a shot still though, or no?
No, I don't. Okay, let's just do. Okay, Niederreiter, right?
Okay. A little high, but that's okay. I mean, we haven't exceeded 13%. I mean,
Blackhawks Wild.
How much time do we have left? We have 39 seconds. Oh God. Okay, that is not good.
The
obvious one's Fleury. If you want to go for one.
Yeah.
What about
Fleury?
Blackhawks and Wild. Yeah, he played for the Blackhawks.
Okay, Blackhawks and Wild. Who you got?
Well, it's either we can go Fleury, but do you want to go Martin Havlat? Actually, do you think Martin Havlat would be a better one?
I was thinking Brian Rolston, but yeah, Havlat works.
Havlat.
Because I don't think Rolston played for the Blackhawks.
Okay, 4%. How much time do you have left? 6 seconds.
Fuck, hold on. Did Cliff Ronning play for the Flames?
And that's time.
Because I know he played for the Wild.
Ronning definitely played for the Flames, I think. But I don't know. I'm between Ronning or Setaguchi. Which one do you want to take a chance on?
I don't want to do. I'm not even big on Ronning. Like I'm not 100% sure because I don't think he played for the Flames. I'm pretty sure.
I'm throwing Setaguchi in there as our final guess.
Fine,
then
go for it. I don't think. Oh, what the hell? He did? Wait, why is his last jersey a Flames jersey? Bro, that's crazy.
Wait, hold on. Let me click on his thing. Let's see. Okay, so you know what it is? He played 12 games with the Flames. That's what it is.
His last year? Is that what it was?
No, it wasn't even his last year. He played with the Kings after that.
What the hell?
It's weird. I'm looking at his career arc. You can't see it on screen because, unfortunately, I'm just sharing one tab. But 2014, 2015, he played 12 games with the Flames. Then he came back to the NHL in 2016, 2017 and played 45 games with the Kings.
Okay.
So apparently he's there. And then I'm just trying to think.
Is there pretty good. The highest rarity score was 13%. That's pretty good.
Wait, how did you see that?
Well, I mean, for us, we had our highest rarity score listed was 13%.
Oh, 13. Oh, I thought you meant, sorry. I was looking at rarity. I guess rarity 66 is pretty solid.
Yeah. I never understand what the average score of 6 points. I don't know what that means.
Oh, is it like people got only 6 of these? Like 6 of the, like they average only 6.2? I think
maybe it's like the percentile was like 66. So like no, that doesn't make sense. Because if you add up everything, I think the lower your percentiles. I don't know. I'm not sure, to be honest.
I feel like average score is the amount they got right. Like amount of people they actually they didn't fuck up a guess. I assume that's what it means. But anyways, let's see. Is there anyone?
I was just go to most popular. Talbot, Parise,
yeah, Fleury's there, like I mentioned. Oh, Brandon Hagel.
Why is Duclair the most popular?
I think it's because he played on the Islanders this year.
Interestingly, I think Seidenberg. I thought Seidenberg, but Bobby Orr, I forgot about that.
He played that really short bit with the Blackhawks, like after his knees got fucked.
Forgot about that. Lucic
and then
Blake Coleman, the most popular for
Blake Coleman. A lot of these guys are part of the Tampa teams that won like cups, like Kegel, Coleman. Yeah.
Well, also the thing is too, a lot of these guys are more recent. Interesting. The lowest scoring one was the Isles and Lightning. Interesting.
21%. Damn. Okay. I am actually kind of curious. Was there any other random? Actually, I'll just check. I'll check Flames and Wild for us. Like you won't see it on screen, but I am curious if Cliff Ronning was there.
I don't think he was.
No. Some of the names you could have gone Chris Simon. That would have worked. Sergei Krivo-Kravtsov would have worked too for Flames and Wild. And then I think I'm trying to see other names. Yeah, Setaguchi's there. Owen Nolan would have worked too. So Nolan played, I think, that really short bit with the Flames that one year, and then he played a little bit with the Wild.
I don't remember the Wild part. I just remember he played for the Nordiques, the Sharks, the Leafs, and then...
Oh, yeah, the Wild part was the last 2 years. Like, he played 2 years with the Wild when he was in 08, 09, and 9-10. Man, it's crazy. Even at 33 points in 73 games is a 37.
Nolan's, like, one of the definition of Hall of Very Good guys. Like, his numbers are actually pretty good.
Does it just suck, though? Like, he went first overall, and he just never, like, really had... Like,
man, really I feel like he was on teams that weren't amazing though. Like if you remember the Sharks teams, they weren't very good.
And the Nordiques were kind of meh for a bit too when he was on them.
Like he had some really good like power. Like to me, he had some really good years, and he was a good power forward. It's just he was just one of those consistent guys, kind of like in that I don't want to say like kind of like Bill Guerin, but like a better, like obviously a better version, but. And also one of the few like Irish. I think he was one of the few Irish hockey players to like hit it, right? So
United King. He's born in the United Kingdom, but yeah, Belfast.
Was he?
I don't know if
Belfast is in Ireland.
Is it? I don't know. It just says UK. I don't know. I just refer to it as UK.
Fair enough.
Hold on. Let me just. Maybe I'm just not. Again, I'm not a very Belfast, Northern Ireland. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So like again. Creating those demographics. Oh, it's weird. We haven't had an Irish hockey player since, or like a prominent one.
I'm just curious. Did Nolan ever play did he play for any of the Canadian national teams? I assume he did, right? Like, yeah, World Championships, and he played in the Olympics in 2002. Okay, yeah.
He wasn't playing for Ireland. Like
You know what's funny? The one I always think of is what's his? You remember Daniel Sprong? Like.
Yeah.
Like how he refuses to play how he refuses to essentially play for the Netherlands.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's basically declined to play for the Dutch team, like, and he keeps trying to remain eligible for Team Canada, but like I don't know, like I would just never call up Daniel Sprong if I'm Team Canada.
Yeah, for sure. He has to be realistic with his expectations.
Again, it's what I joke about. It's like I don't know if you again you're not a Canadian soccer fan, but like with like Canada's men's national team, a lot of the guys they do get that are the dual nationals are likely guys that probably wouldn't have squeezed into the other like countries they could have like the
But
other
I mean,
country they're
I'm
eligible
sure
for.
is that not the case with hockey though? Like some of the guys that play for like Italy and stuff, are they not guys who just wouldn't have made Team Canada as well?
I guess that too, but like I guess like that one only matters because I think the Olympics is in Italy, right? Like the Milan, like in Milan. So like I guess
Right,
that's a little
right,
bit
right.
like I guess like there is more of an allure of playing Olympic hockey, even if you're gonna get your butt kicked. Like I think I saw an article. I think there was like I think one of the Canadian women's hockey players. She's playing for Team Italy in 2026. Like and she's played a numerous number of games for Canada,
Mm.
like in the past. Like she's been a part of a couple of their teams that won the world championships. Like I don't know. Apparently with the women's side, apparently it's a lot easier to switch than the men's side.
No, yeah. Interesting. Again, that's not something I really follow, but I would just imagine that if you wanted to play, and like honestly, I'd rather get more recognition because say that team does better than expected, like Artur Silovs or Kristers Gudlevskis, right? Like that got Gudlevs that performance against Canada in that Olympics got him looks that he wouldn't have otherwise got. Not saying he obviously he's from Austria, so whatever.
Latvia.
But Latvia, sorry, from Latvia, so whatever. But like if he had played for another country where he couldn't have started, who knows, right?
Yeah, well, for sure. Like I think it's I feel like anytime you have those like weird I don't know one of those like not so like prominent hockey nations does like even decently well at the Olympics, like it does get a lot of those guys
Yeah.
like either
Remember,
looks or
like
like
Mark Streit for Switzerland was like that for a while.
well, I remember Switzerland had that. I remember was it the '06 Olympics where they like took out Canada in the quarters? I think, or was that the Swiss or was that somebody else? I don't remember, but I mean, when you do pull off the upsets, like you do get a lot of like recognition, right? So
yeah, 100%. All right, so that wraps up our podcast. Was there anything else you wanted to discuss today, or was there?
No, I think that's good. I mean, unless you want to do another immaculate grid, but like I think we're good. Otherwise, in terms of the content,
we're gonna leave on a high note for today.
Yeah, if we start another one and then we realize, oh no, like then we have to keep playing until we.
For people that don't know, you have like one of the worst habits. So because we play like we play games together, like card games or competitive games, and like WillyDubz is one of those guys where if he loses on a bad note, he won't stop playing till he wins. So like we're gonna leave it on a good note because otherwise there's the chance that like if we screw up like the next two, we could be here for another hour, and I'm not risking that.
Yeah. Although this is a bit of a shorter podcast, so I don't know if people. I mean, it's fine. I mean, it's fine for us, right? But like again, like it's. Yeah. I think it's nice to have a one or two short ones here and there, and like we will have a few longer ones that might go 2-3 hours in the future, right? Like a lot of the previews might go longer too. So
yeah.
We'll try
our next podcast. So our next fantasy podcast, we're gonna tier the defensemen. I think we're gonna curb it to like top 40, top 50, something like that, and then. Our next
basically
podcast, like I said,
all the people that will probably play Power Play 1 and then like a couple of stragglers that are good for like category. Like, a lot of guys.
Man, well, I feel so bad calling Noah Dobson a straggler, but I feel so.
Yeah, but basically they're guys that have good peripherals, but like don't have like it's the PP1 guys and the guys that have good peripherals, but like probably don't get power play time or deep relevant power play time. Excuse me.
And then And then, like I said, the other podcast, we're going to do the five teams we think will be better, teams we think will be worse, and we'll do a breakdown of the Hockey Canada decision.
Yep. Sounds like a plan. All right. I'm all for it.
Sounds good. All right, guys, this is us signing off here. Again, after the long one, I hope you enjoyed the shorty. I'm SJ. That's WillyDubz, and we're signing out here at Toe in the Crease. Later.
See you guys later. Peace.